just with I'm using OBS, so I'm having to do a little scrunchy there on the screen, so sorry about that. Awful. Let me just make sure this is still working. Still happy. Yep, okay, cool. So what I'm going to do, this is Adobe Audition, and if you've never been in Adobe Audition, this might be a little bit much to absorb. But what we have here is a pretty significant trailer mix, especially in Adobe Audition. And we'll just play this here. I'm going to bring out the video. Undock panel, just so you can watch it. This is just going to be a mix that is just kind of faders up and not going to be that great to listen to. Let's see if we can actually play it at half. Let's see here if this will play without too much trouble, because I'm running all the individual tracks and streaming and playing video at full res here. So let's see. Sounds good. And there's dialogue that goes here, which we'll be putting in on another stream. Dialogue. There's also music that's in, but we'll be looking at that in a bit. It's never the heart of the storm that matters. Some slugs that need to go in. It's the heart of the people who fight the storm. This is J.G. Hertzler, that guy right there. Music, music, music. Bang, bang. All right, cool. I'm going to put this back by doing this. Come on back now, Yahia. And we'll make the video very low res, because to do all that we're doing right now, it really requires quite a bit of processing power. You can see what's happening here. Sorry about that, everybody. Let's see. What else am I needing to do here? There. Okay. So here we go. What do we got to do here? The music is out. Let me just show you what I have in terms of organization of tracks. We've got, this is the video track here, the original video. Then we've got the, this is basically a stereo master of all of this. This is not going to work. Let's turn notifications off, because otherwise this is going to get really old really fast. I'm wondering why this is happening, actually. I'm going to flip us back to the full screen here, because that's just going to get annoying. It's turning notifications. Horrible. Nobody wants to see text going all the time. Okay, 1 second while I mess around with this. Do not disturb. Messages, none. Thank you. Back we go to work. All right, video, stereo, stereo down mix. And then we've got tones. This is the 2-pop, the tone that happens just before the 1 hour mark here, so that everybody knows where sync is. And we have voiceovers that are going to come in really soon. We've got mono verb, all kinds of basically voiceover verb that we'll be using once we get to voiceover. Not in this one though, not in this stream. And then we're going to go all the sound effects here, many, many, many sound effects, layers upon layers. And if you've done the cinema sound education, you know why we do all these layers. And we'll be taking a look at all this stuff. And then we've got some ambiances here. There's those alarms that by now you can tell the whole thing has been cut basically to this alarm, excuse me, this being delayed by an echo, which I'll show you. And actually that's the alarm bus right there where we've got the echo built in. And then more metronomes for the editor, music reference in stereo, and then all of the stems. and then buses here that we're doing from a master perspective. And we can see that this way. There's the stereo down mix. This is the tones, voiceover, voiceover, voiceover. And then we're going to do all the sound effects. We're going to get to that alarm, alarmingly. Here we can see this is the echo that it's being bussed to. Alarm is being bussed here at about 880 milliseconds, which is the right tempo. I don't remember what the tempo is, but it works. And then here's all the music stems all going to the 5.1 bus. And then we get over here, here's the MX bus, and then this is the 5.1 Printmaster bus. And here's us with the 3D Spatial Audio Designer, which we're going to be fooling around with here in a second. And if you've got headphones on, you'll notice. And this is our ambisonic output, which we are listening to now, then being hard limited, so that we don't go over. Great. So how do we deal with this? Now you can already tell we've done some mixing here because the echo is in and all those things. But the thing we want to do is just kind of start with the first bank of sound effects and then kind of go from there. I'm going to hold down Shift and make all these tracks much larger so I have some access to them. There we go. So the first thing that we have here is this nifty thing here. And that's sort of if we put them both together, the left and right. It sort of happens here as a thematic element for whenever we have this boom, boom video. And if we put both of these tracks together, you'll see. So, and if we look at where these are panned, we can see that it's front left, front left, front left, front right, front left, front right. And that's pretty cool. What we might do is, let's take a look here. It looks like there's no LFE in here. What we might do is make these go front to rear. And in Audition, you can see these little divots that are in here. If you drop this panner into that divot, you can no longer automate it anymore. So we always try to keep it out of there. Let's see what this sounds like now, going from front to back. That's kind of cool. I like that. Let's see what else is banging around in here. I know there's a giant bass drum. Oh, here it is, right here even. Cool. Just soloing here. For sure. Now that's kind of a lame sound, so we'll make this go hard left. And I know that should be hard right. I know I just said don't do that, but I know I'm never going to automate this, so is always going to be here in the hard left. And we're going to add some more subwoofer to it, like a lot more. When we do Spatial Audio Designer, subwoofers or the LFE channel is basically the only thing that we kind of can get wrong because we're listening in headphones. Yeah, that's cool. And the other thing we might do is just add some EQ to this. We'll go to the effects rack. We'll pop in some simple parametric EQ. There's a lot of high frequencies in that I really don't want to deal with. Oops, the other way, I had it right, low pass. And I think I might want to just do this. Where's that bass drum? Here it is. I'm going to copy from right to left. Beautiful. Ooh. Now that I didn't expect. What happened there? Oh, that's because the volume jumped way up here. One of the great things about the Adobe Audition EQ, it's like a tank. I mean, look at this. You can do 96 decibels of addition or subtraction on every band, which is nuts. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And especially since it's going to this, we'll drop this trumpet up. We'll drop it up to about, cool. And it's just some low things that we want to add layered in. Let's see what else is going on here. I think that may be all. Oh, and then the alarm. Space noise. Let's check out what the space noise is doing. It looks like an ambience, if I don't miss my guess. Yeah. And it's panned, I mean, sort of mid-back, mid-surround, rather. So now, if we put all this together, is there anything else banging around in here? No. Just this and the score. Cool, and I think we have some tail here with this. Yeah, so it's continuing on. And the rumble goes. Let's make sure that the rumble has some LFE. It does. Let's give it a little bit more. Oh, I see. We have thunder too. Yeah. So we've got space noise and thunder. I see. We've got plenty for this now. And the thunder is also, it's almost even more rear surroundy. Right, and this would go over the voiceover, which we haven't heard yet. Okay, then we have the same thing that happens again, but we're already set up for most of those sounds. Now we just need to figure out what we're going to do with the spaceship noises that have been added here. Let's see what's happening here. Now I'm going to go back and check here, see if we have any questions. Hey, Jordan. Oh. Yeah, the auto played into the stream. Oh, hey, Fotis. Hey, Jordan. Sorry about that. What a mess. Boo, hiss. Well, I'm glad you all found it. And if you got any questions, good to see you, Jordan and Fotis. Just hop in. Let's see. Give us a shout in the chat. I've got my phone up here. That's why I'm looking down. So if you've got any questions, I'll be able to see it, because flipping back and forth isn't going to work. All right, so we got some warp sounds here. That's so cool. So cool. And let's see what's happening here. Oof, just a piece of beef in the face. A sub sweep. Well, shoot. That only should exist in one place and one place only. Let's just make this all sub. And that'll allow us to probably turn the overall on this down, because you can hear the distortion that's happening in there. How about now? Yeah, it should just be in the subs. And you're like, well, how are you putting this in the subs on our headphones? Well, the LFE channel, if I go to the mix, and I just want to show you this in Spatial Audio Designer if you haven't seen this before. I'm going to go to this is the sad send, and right now, it's still going. Not quite going there. Wonder why that is. Should be. Are we going to the right place, ladies and gentlemen? Sound effects bus. Nope, not going there. Why are we not going to the sound LFE? I definitely have it in the left and right. All right. If I take it out of this, take it out of this, that's super strange. Super strange that it's not going to the LFE, even though I'm turning it up to the LFE. Is there some setting that I'm running that has that go? Another Greek, yay! Oh, that's great. Thanks, Fotis. That's awesome. Hey there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for giving us a shout out. I'm just trying to figure out why the LFE isn't going to where it's supposed to go here. That's so weird. Print master, it's going here. It's not going to the LFE. We might have a little bug here, unless I just pop this out. Oh, something else we didn't know. Check this out. If you put, I didn't actually know this, if you put the panner and lock it into that little notch, the LFE won't work. Well, we're going to hear about that on Cinema Sound, because that should never be. We'll pop this out. We will get our LFEs back. Get out of there. Oh, yes. So now we can bring these down even further. And now we can bring the LFE up. And you're like, well, dude, it's headphones. How do we have LFEs in headphones? The way this plugin works, it's so smart with how it does LFE. There it is. Okay, so it's showing up here on the LFE only channel. And let's turn this up a bit more. Hear what it sounds like in your headphones now. I mean, even if you've got earbuds on, it's like, wait, what? How is that even possible? It's pretty rad. So I love, if you don't have Spatial Audio Designer yet, man, you are missing out. And you're watching me stream this on YouTube. It's so dope. All right, enough fun. Back to work, everybody. So now what's happening is, and we just know this from a balance standpoint, that rumble down there is getting in the way of the, our downer, this stuff here. As cool as that is, it's not as cool as the downer. Ooh, too much, but a lot of fun. Too much is never. Yeah, cool. So there's a little downer there, and these are just the things that we do when we're mixing. We're massaging, we're trying to move something out of the way here, add a little bit more here, and normally I'm doing this with EQ, but because these are all low frequency energy bits, something's got to give here, and we want the most important aspect of the sound to show up first and be prevalent. Let's just check these warp engine sounds. Okay, so it looks like this is a left and right pan issue. We'll take a look at the video. All right, looks like these are all layers. Let's double check. Aries impulse. Cool. And this is an... Okay. And then we want it to kind of feel like the ship is coming in and then moving away. So let's just try this. I'm going to hit Command, and it gives me the single solo by unsoloing everything else. And then, yeah, for sure, this is going to be much louder because it's much closer. And the crossfades are built into the audio. And then it needs to be panned. Brilliant. Let's take a look at pan angle. Now this gets a little tricky in Audition because you have to be very careful about keyframes, because these keyframes can really kind of get out of order fast. But we're glad that we have them nonetheless. Let's just put this back to about here. Usually faster than using the pan wheel. And of course I went the wrong way. Go the other way, young man. Okay. No, I guess I had it right the first time. It's going left to right. Do I have my headphones on right? Yes. It's definitely going right to left. Would be great if it just said what it was. Like left. There. You know, I can't tell. Let's try this. No, that's pan center. Oh, I see. I'm just going all the way around the world. You can see it turning around here. If we do this. Just going mad. That's the reason. All right, so I think it will tell me we're going to go left. To right. To live through this. Definitely not panned anywhere. Left to right. Left to right. Yeah, and by the time it gets to the middle of this, the ship's sort of back in the center again. Which is about there. And here, about there. Let's check it out. Cool. And then we just need to deal with the level, because it gets sort of far away here, although I love this sound. This is such a cool sound. And then it gets loud, and then it gets quiet. Maybe it's too loud here. This is basically distance to camera mixing in space. Oh, let me see what I got here. Spatial audio design software as well, like Blue Ripple Sound, Noisemakers, Sound Particles, and Flux. No, Spatial Audio Designer is specifically for doing binaural of all kinds, out to 24.2 surround in headphones. It also does it in speakers, and I can actually do that kind of surround sound work even in Audition that natively only goes to 5.1, but you can definitely do that in Audition, which is incredible. It expands it to unlimited tracks. Let's see, I've also found other 3D audio apps like Camera. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's the DaVinci Resolve one's pretty rudimentary, the panner. And you only can really do 5.1 on it successfully. And we'll pull this down a little bit more yet. This would be pretty... Should be pretty well out by the time we get down here. And then this track has its own unique sonic tapestry, sonic signature. We'll be doing the same kind of thing here. Because there's music in here that we haven't heard yet, or at least you all haven't heard it yet. And we want to give that some space. Let's see how we do now. There we go. Let's see how it all blends together, if it blends together. It's okay. I'm not too thrilled about this sound. Seems like it's just still too loud. Yeah, it's still too loud for me. In fact, I'm just going to pull down the clip volume just because I'm lazy. Lazy bird. But because it's here, it'll work. Now, normally I'm doing this with faders, but you can't see me move faders on a controller. There we go. And then there's something rumbling around here. It might be this. Is it? Yeah, this is way too loud. Pull this back. I love this space noise, but it's just annoying. Now notice I haven't added anything else to the LFE. We want to be careful with the LFE because this is one of the reasons why it's called low frequency FX, not everything low frequency. That's better to me. Thunder. Do it all again. Okay, super. All right, so lots of mess. Let's just deal with the noise. I like the noise here, but I don't like it here. It's just a little too much for me. So bringing this down. Yep, works good. Like it. And I'm just doing a general layering. We're going to go back and do, make sure that these sound effects are in the right place for each other. But just make sure everything's in the right place. Okay. These are mono, which I don't like. And by mono, I mean center channel. These are stereo. So let's drop these here. No reason to put them into the LFE. They can be full range. Yeah, they got the little cry in there. That's cool. I think it's, yeah, scream. Oh, dying people. So sad. Let's see where this is and see if we can help it out with a little bit of reverb here. Mono, reverb, dialogue, sound effects verb, front. Now I have two sound effects verbs, one for the front and one for the surrounds. Why? Because it's a lot more efficient on the CPU and a lot easier to control. I'm using Studio Reverb, and it's basically the same setting as what I've got in the surrounds, except for a couple of different things. I hope, if I remember this right, I should have. No, they are absolutely identical, so that's not good. We should have the room size. The decay should be a little, well, these are massive, really long reverbs. We'll add some early reflections. We'll make the width a little bit wider. There's a pre-delay. The pre-delay, the damping should be a little more, and the diffusion a little wider. So at least they're different. Just interesting early reflections. We'll just give it that. So they shouldn't be identical, otherwise they're basically become mono. So we usually add a little pre-delay to the surround so that their reverb happens slightly later. Where did I get? Where am I at? Oh. Don't get lost in the track count, y'all. I tell this to all my editing students. You either organize or die. Here we go now. Yeah. Let's just turn this up now that we are going to sound effects verb front. Ooh, that's just terrifying. Doesn't sound like it's in the front though, does it? Sure is. And those are sure in the back. Let's set up send 2 to be surround, and we'll turn that up just to see what it sounds like. Oh yeah, that's definitely the rear. Yeah, we'll turn them both on. What the heck? That's just frightening. Here's the video. I like that. All right, we've got some other torpedoes and nonsense here. We've got a Klingon D6. Okay, let's see what we've got going on there. Trailer, 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 trailer. Music, music, music. Must be up here. It isn't. Oh, possibly where it says disruptor. Nice. All right, let's look at that. Looks like it's dead in the middle, the center, which I don't have any problem with that. Just a little loud for me. Maybe split the difference. And then there's some kind of a shield. Oh yeah, on the little ship there, but these are way, way too loud for that. Okay, so we'll bring these down. It was a lot of fun to assemble all these sound effects, of course, layering upon layer. Any other questions? When mixing a rock track in surround, do you route some of the kick drum and bass drums, power efficiency, LFE? Do you just reserve for ultra sub-bassy moments like sonic booms? You know what's great about that mixing? It's a great question. Mixing, I'll just take a break here, hop off the big screen. When you're doing music in surround, there's no rules. That's why I love mixing in surround. Especially in giant formats like 11.1, which is officially what we're in now. It's a 5.1 mix, but I've got the surrounds up like they would be in a theater. It kind of helps. So when I'm mixing in surround and music, it's whatever I want to do. And if you want to have the LFE hitting that bass drum throughout the song, you can. I just don't think that's a good use of the effect. Remember that you've got let's say even in a 5.1 environment, you've got 5 full bandwidth speakers that should be pretty good speakers, not like little chintzy things. I mean, they should be full bandwidth. So what I like to do is I like to take the bass drum and then pan it in mono to all 5 speakers. So now I've got that bass drum hitting in all 5 speakers in true mono, but now it's 5.1 space. But not in the LFE until I get to maybe the chorus. And I get in the chorus, and then I don't take the full bandwidth, bass drum. I'll obviously lop off everything above 90 hertz. And then it's just doom, doom, down there for the chorus, or maybe for bar hits, and then you'll make your own sub track just for bar beats. So 3 and 4, it's chorus, right? So I love that, and all those effects. The LFE and 5.1 mixing makes mixing like Christmas morning at 5 years old. Every day you go to work, you're just like, I love mixing 5.1. You can put the vocal back here, but just remember those 5 full bandwidth speakers. That's serious power. In fact, it's probably more power than the sub channel, than the LFE channel has allotted to it combined. So it's something you can think about for all kinds of fun effects like that. You can put the vocals and all kinds of things, and it's so great. But good thinking, good thinking. Oh, I got Jordan up here. Not a technical question, but in creating the sound effects for Axanar, you're obviously trying to recreate iconic Star Trek sounds. Yeah. Did you have access to the actual sound? Yes, I did. I had, and so does everybody. They're sitting online. I took every one of them and ran them through denoise, stereo enhancement, harmonic enhancement. I de-distorted them because they're so gross. Create some of the good example, the red alert clouds. Yep, all that stuff. I just went and did a restoration pass to it. What were some of the rules you used to do your best to keep the sound effects within the reality of the shooter? How difficult was that? Well, Axanar, they raised like, I don't know, what are they up to now? $2 million so far? So it's theoretically a fan film, but they've got a little bit of a budget, and they want to kind of keep the feel of the old, but they want it to have a new feel. That's circular, I know, but you get it. So we did the original sound effects. I made the original sound effects library for all these ships back in 2014, 2015 maybe even it was. So we wanted to have the iconic sounds and the visual effects guy to look and sound like, oh, we know what that is. But there are ships in here we've never seen before. The Klingon D6, there's the Ares, there's all these other classes of ships that we never saw before. So in that, I added layers and layers of all kinds of stuff that they never had there, and blended some of the original, like the TNG sounds that they had, resynthesized those in. So you might even hear like the Rio Grande from Deep Space Nine shuttle effects blended into some of those warp-in sounds. And but in fact, what I've done is take dubstep effects that we use in big, powerful dubsteps and risers and resynthesize those. I also went out and recorded some original stuff of trucks going up the Grapevine on the 5 freeway in Southern California. And just to get some grit that was never present and make it feel like a feature film, layer upon layer, while also keeping the integrity of the iconic sounds and the iconic moments, but keep the immersion much, much deeper, much, much more powerful. So that's a great question. Let's see, in regards to question 2, was that a collaborative effort on one person made the executive choice on what to keep and what to change? Well, I was senior sound designer, and Frank Serafini was with me on that, but ultimately I was also the editor, for a while there, and post-super. So ultimately I was like, I want this, went to the director, and he's like, sounds great, let's do it. So I just had to run it by him. That was great. When mixing, so we got that. Great questions. Great questions. Cool. Back we go. All right, so the shields are just a little bit low now. Normally I'd also dim the high frequencies on these, but trailers we get to cheat. Yeah, perfect. And then the torpedoes. Let's see what's happening in the lovely torpedo land. We might want to give these behave. Okay, there's explosions. Where are my torpedoes? There they are. Okay, so these torpedoes are kind of milquetoast. Let's spruce them up. I mean, they sound fine because we did do, a really nice restoration pass. In fact, Paramount should call me up and pay me to get these sounds because they are really, really nice now. And we can do something like this to them and be fine. Where am I at? About a 2. Yeah. And what I mean by that is, were we to do this kind of equalization on the original sounds, it would be like, listening to frying eggs all the time. Because they're just really crunchy and really old. Woo! Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. They loud now, y'all. But they got the frequency right. They should feel gritty. And you need to come way down, that far down, really? Oh, you know what happened? Why it's doing this, I don't know. The gain. Let's add 40 decibels from the EQ side. Wouldn't that be great? Let's not, and say we did. Let's just not. Bring the faders back here. Yeah. Because those torpedoes should not be full bandwidth. They should be very narrow and that really hard to hear. Listen. Yeah, much nicer. Okay, and now for the explosions. We do want to add some of these explosions to the LFE. I think. If they're not already there, they are not. So let's add, just to give a little thump. Also, normally what I do with the LFE track, which I haven't done here, is normally I add a little slow compressor to just the LFE channel, because that way it kind of snaps everything up in the low frequency. What you want from that low frequency channel is the feeling that if your leg was next to the speaker, your jeans would blow back and forth because of the wind and the power. Let's take a look at the video, see if we're getting it. Sure. We don't really see the explosions in the shot, so I'm not worried about getting that snap for an explosion. I do think I want to have, because it's left-right, so I'm going to turn down the right on this one and turn down the left on this one. Oh, are they both mono? All right. I'm not hard to get along with. And if you're just joining us, we've learned a terrible new truth about Audition, and that is that if you lock this into one of those little channels right there, LFE stops working, which is a total drag. Did I just get that wrong? I just got it backwards. Of course I did. Get out of there. This is the latter. We want the right to go. This is the former, where we want the left to go. There we go. Now it should look cool. Yeah. All right, and this is the next bit with the D6, or this is the D7 actually flying in. What have we got here? Ooh, look at these fun sounds. What have I got here? Oh, those are the explosions? No. There's the scream. Oh, okay. Didn't even know that. Let's darken that. Internal explosion should not be that nice and pretty. It should be dark. And this also might be a place where we add some low frequency effects. About 650. Oh, it did that thing again, it did. What is going on? I don't need 40 decibels. Please. Oh my goodness. That's too much. I'm way too far down there. Need some kind of a sonic tapestry in here. A little bit more. Give it 3K. Sometimes you just got to experiment. Split the difference, make it 2.5. Yeah, that's nice. And now let's just double check the panning on this. In fact, let's make these go way over here and way over here. Cool, I like that, but what we're going to do is a little trick. What we're going to do, we're going to take a look at the volume, and we're going to bring one up while we bring the other one down, so that it goes left to right. Instead of having to deal with the nonsense of pan. And remember, whenever you do these kinds of things, to return your levels. Cool. I like that. How about with the video? That works for me. I like it. All right, back to the ship. I thought we were going to get there, but we're not. Now we're here. Klingon warp-in, what is this? Well, that's a fruit salad all by itself there. So I think it's cool, but again, too bright, too much. And I think instead of doing a roll-off, what we will do, we'll still do this parametric EQ. Oh my goodness, what is this? Let's just do the default, can we? But let's just do a shelf now. A little less messy, a little easier to deal with. And I'm just alt dragging to make this go left and right. Let's add a little more. And then this is the D7 impulse. What is that? Oh, I see. It's kind of like the sound of it. The engine roaring. Let's add a little LFE to that thump as well. And once you get all this stuff kind of settled in, then the mixing part starts. And I mean, I know we're mixing still, but that's fine. I bring it up just a little, just a wee bit. Sure. And then we've got the title, music, thunder. We've got a phaser blast. We've got warfare. It's the end of the world. Let's find that phaser. It needs help. There's phasers. Guess what I'm going to do? First of all, not fall prey to that nonsense. And we're going to just add some decibels right in that I don't like the sound of that zone. So we can really make these phasers hurt. Ooh. That's mean. And now what's this? Shotgun. Oh yeah, that's right. This is actually a trick from Frank. May he rest very peacefully, our man Frank. He thought that it would be a good idea for layers, and we were talking about phasers for the original Prelude to Axanar, to add shotguns. I thought he was nuts, but that was the last time I thought he was nuts, because he was so right. As a layer element to start, like almost like magic attack, like we talked about in the Cinema Sound Education. Adding something that's completely silly as an attack really helps. And you can just barely get it, but it really adds a whack to the sound. Cool, I like that. What have I got here? More explosions, God bless them. Okay, we've got lots of LFE for that. Let's do crossfade, or add a little entry fade though. Let me look at this video so I get some reference. Sometimes you just have to go back to the video. Sure, plenty. Let's see what other things are rolling in here. I think we have that. Oh. Sub sweep number 2. Well, that's nothing but fun. Okay, it's in there. I'm not gonna mess with it right now. Ooh, I really don't like that. Okay, so this one, it goes out with the crossfade, but this one is kind of loose, so we got to do a little bit of an edit to this so that it comes up right here. There we go. pan on it is really nuts. So let's put it back to the middle. Okay, let me check out some questions here. Okay, cool. Regarding sound effect cleanup, a really impressive and fun tool is Photo Sounder. You can freely separate frequencies or resynthesize stuff by drawing and even using it along with Photoshop. Wow, that's so cool. I've also heard good things about Clevgrand Bruce Free. Never even heard of that. What do you use for super surgical spectral editing? You can use Adobe Audition right here. Just double click and you're in a spectral view. Bang. Or it's Adobe RX. Adobe RX. Wouldn't that be great if they just bought Isotope? But the Isotope RX is the tool that I would use if it had to be really surgical. Okay. Now I don't remember what I was doing. Good questions though. Excellent questions. Okay. Volume. And normally, again, I hate doing keyframes. As anybody who knows from the cinema sound education, I hate them. I do. Grateful and hate them. That's fine. Don't need that to get too crazy. These torpedoes are now up in my grill. I don't like them. Don't like them there. Yeah, because it's going to the rear, you know. Don't need them that loud. And that other explosion could be a little stronger. And obviously I could be using clip volume, but because there's crossfade clips that are built into this, it becomes a little cumbersome. Maybe I'll start doing that from here on, because this is equally as cumbersome and slow to do it this way. There we go. Dialogue, 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 thunder, thunder, thunder. Okay, some more cool sounds. Stuff that we're used to, D6 engine. Cool. Obviously there's, this is the camera mixing wanting to happen here. Yeah, it's going to have to come down quite a bit more. And this is going to have to be quite a bit more up. And I believe this is stereo, so this needs to go here. And this needs to go here. Yeah. Oh, it's going to have to be a lot louder. 15. It's all the way to the top. Awesome. Okay. And then that makes this too soft. Yes. Okay. Dialogue. Music, music, music. Echo, echo, echo. And then big sound effect thing. That's actually not bad, actually, kind of the way that is. It's like a sound effects potpourri of sounds. So this is a great opportunity just to check out what kind of things we're layering here. Here's that shuttle. That's the Ares impulse engines. Here's a ramp up. A little pop there, which I don't like. Bassard Raum scoop. Pretty cool, but probably going to be invasive. We're going to have to bring that down. Oof, a really bad snap. Definitely from TNG. Oh, that's cool. Thump. Let's just add reverb to that. We know we're going to want it. We're going to go to sound effects for surround. Yeah. Love it. Oh, it also needs to go to the LFE. Love it. And what's this? Deep whoosh. Interesting. Hull whoosh. Okay. Both of these need to come way down. As fun as they are. And then what is this? Okay, just a little element. All together now. All right, Jordan. We'll see you soon. Yeah, totally. Okay, and then there's a thunderclap in there. Maybe I pulled these down too much. I do kind of like these hull whooshes. Excuse me, burpee tonight. All right, cool. I'll bring that thump up even more. And I think we can have a little more sweep. I like that wind up of it. Okay, and this the shuttle impulse is doing good. Just want to check the ramp up. No, I think we could use some more of that. We got to be careful when we just turn everything up, because then stuff just gets too loud. Music, music. Boom, boom. Okay. All right, so that's kind of a general gist. We've just been through that. Now let's turn on the music. We'll play it through. You can kind of hear what that's going to sound like. And this is just, I think, faders kind of just sitting at unity-ish. Yeah. Yep. Here we go. All right, so everything's in the center channel right now, so it sounds like crap. So let's just solve that before we do anything else, and we can just listen to the music down here for a second. OB left, in the world is this? I don't actually even know. Oboe? Yeah, oboe. Back to the mixer. Oboe. Well, the oboe is probably pretty well left and right. These orchestral stems have already position in the stereo space. Woodwind rips are all going to be here. Straight left and right. They've kind of already been placed. All we really want to be doing now is thinking about where do we want to place the rest of the instruments. And usually the further away from left and right, the better. Now horns like this, because they're usually very, very important instruments, we don't really go too far into the surrounds. But things like trombones, we can definitely space them out, get them away from where there is going to be sound effect interference. And there's, again, no rules to this. I just have what I do. And like high string long, I'll bring those back. Now what it means, of course, is that you may have to push them more than they were in their original stereo mix, because back here in these speakers, they may get lost a little bit. On the other hand, because you are adding more speakers, not just a left and right, but you're adding a surround set of speakers, they could be, their overall volume be quite a bit stronger. So this is just low string short. String ensembles, I'm putting them all sort of in this same space here for a second. And I see your question down there. Let me just get through this. Piano and celeste I'm going to put way back here because they're, well, for lack of a better term, they're mallets and percussion. Harp I put just on the other side of left and right. Metal percussion way back here. Orchestra percussion way back here. And you're going to hear a pretty strong difference. This music's going to come alive. And then orchestra percussion hits. I'm going to put halfway. I'm also going to add these to the sub by 50%. I forgot to add that. They don't happen that often, but when they do, they do. Now, ethnic percussion, because it's I know this track, because I wrote it, we're going to want them left and right, because there's a lot of hitting there. Small percussion, we're going to put back here. No LFE required. Orchestra percussion straight, like timpani and those kinds of things, we're going to put back here. No LFE. I don't know that there's any choir. Oh, there has to be choir. The choir we're going to put way back here in the surrounds. They're just going to be back there, scraping away. And then hits are really, really big, strong things. We're going to put them straight left and straight right with 60% LF, 65% LFE, etc. I'm going to hit save. Question: how do you approach the Hollywood space sound? Since there is no sound in space and therefore no initial reflections or impulse responses, so there's no room to fake. But still, you can't just have lasers and explosions and nothing. Yeah, I add kind of a 2.5 second. Well, you saw the reverb I was using there. That's like a 6 second delay, which is nuts. It's for a specific effect, but normally just a nice, easy reverb, or maybe even an echo as if it's coming off a planet somewhere. I mean, it's all nonsense. There's no sound in space, right? But you know, as if there's a hard ball over there, that planet, and sound hits it and comes back. It's really your taste, and I don't want to get in the middle of your taste, how you want space to feel. Because you can have space completely dry. There's no question why you couldn't. It's just dry as a bone. You could. It's very uncomfortable when we do that, and that might be a good tool. But otherwise, you know, I add a little reverb on things where there's a hit and the need of help, the need for help in the ambience department. Yeah, because there's no impulse response. It's sort of a joke to even say that there might be. All right, I'm going to solo. We're going to go back here. I'm going to pull up the video so you can watch this now in the space that this music's supposed to live in. We're going to solo the music bus. You can see the panning of it. So much different now. And you know, stuff in the back, stuff in the front, but nothing in the center. Look at these spacings. No center channel. Also no LFE yet. There's a little LFE. So we're leaving space for the sound effects to go bang, bang. Cool. All right, so that's the music. And once you pan this stuff, it's like, oh, so much nicer. And now, because we have the control over all these things, I was just pushing a couple things that I thought were missing. This orchestral percussion thing is weird. It should be there. I should see small percussion is okay-ish. Choir. Sorry, I'm just doing a little balancing. And there's no rules, like I keep saying, there's no rules, no rules, no rules, but there are things that work better than others. And we talk about this extensively at Cinema Sound, and of course, in the Cinema Sound education, we go over where to put all these things. And you're kind of seeing a breakdown, drag forward, whatever that expression is, about where to put things here. I want to say knock down, drag out, but that's like the wrong expression completely. What's the right expression for that? Anyway, crash course is the only thing I could think of. It's not very inventive. And now that we have all these things here, we can add our own EQ. Now, the composers never like it when we do this, but I can tell you I'm going to want to have some assistance in the low frequency zone for these low strings, just because I want to have, there's some nice tones down there that I want to, did that just do that thing again? It did, doggone it. Some nice low frequencies down there that I want to help out. And it'll be the same with these guys. Not just the strings low, but the strings fast. Yeah. There's a nice piano in there in the back and the surrounds. Now, I am going to use some faders here because I can't possibly know which way to move these things musically, and I got to have my fingers on the fader. So some of this brass needs to, we need a little help there. Did this just drop me back to the beginning? Doggone it. Oh, way at the end. Right there. And for us, what we'll do is we'll just put this into touch because we don't want to mess up any of our other settings or automations. Oh, that's a latch. This is touch. That might have been much. Probably was. And we'll do the other channel. And we'll get the low brass ensembles. And we'll get this little horror bit here. T, please. And we sure need that choir going there. Creepy choir. Look at the other side. And then we're into dialogue. And now the rest of this is music. So now we can push it, but we'll see how the mix ends up here. But we might just run up the music master fader. Yeah, I think that's exactly what we need to do. So we're going to go to the mix bus. We're going to say touch, and we probably need to pull down the sound effects because they're making weird cutoffs, which I don't like. One of the nice things about busing everything together onto a single channel is you can do this to all the sound effects, right? I can pull every one of those channels down, touch, by employing a little judicious this. And then we're back to that, and then we'll do the same over here. I think I might have pulled up those choirs a little bit too much, don't you? And then we're going to push this. And then we're going to wait for all this sound effect stuff to happen, and we'll push music once again after this. There's that. Okay, I think what we might do, and we might do this in our next session, because then it'll be kind of tweaking. We'll have the dialogue in, which will change a lot of how this works. You know, we've got sound effects and music sort of in a nice general space, which is a really, really great place to have it in. And then once you drop that dialogue in, that dialogue's going to have, we're going to make it sound like a hot poker in the eyeball, is what we're going to make it sound like. And it's already J.G. Hertzler, so, I mean, he's amazing. He's got a great voice. If you don't know, he's General Martok from the Deep Space Nine series. You know, great voice, and he nailed all these performances. So we're going to drop that in. We're going to tweak and tune him up and drop it into this mix, and then massage basically master faders and other things so that he's got a beautiful space in there, while the sound effects or the music is constantly being kept one or the other, so that the immersion, the emotional tenor of this trailer just keeps rolling. And that could probably take the bulk of our next session here on this trailer. And this is all being done in Adobe Audition, by the way. And for those of you who are like, oh, Audition isn't a professional device. Listen, lady, pal, I'm running an awful lot of tracks here. Now, I'm not doing tons of plugins, it's true, but listen, I'm on a laptop, this whole thing, and I'm streaming, and I'm running 5.1 ambience live, streaming it to you, and I'm playing video. So, you know, they've gotten a lot better with its efficiency. Now, I will tell you, there's an article and videos on Cinema Sound that tell you how to speed up Adobe Audition so that you can get, you know, the maximum value out of doing all of this, because it isn't just the default, it comes out of the box, it makes it work really nice. You do have to, you know, do some tweaking to it for sure, so that it runs this effectively and this efficiently. Because what we don't want to have to do is start doing pre-render. It really slows down the process. And you want to have a processor that has higher clock rate. More processors isn't as good as higher clock speed for Adobe Audition. So anyway, let's just take a look. I'm going to disconnect undock the panel, make it a little bigger. We're going to take our resolution out to half, which is pretty good for what we got to do. We'll just take a listen, see if this will play, to see where we're at now. And it was kind of all over the map and kind of mono, very center, and now the music is sort of in. None of this is perfect yet, but it gets us in the ballpark, as we like to say. And if you've got any questions, you can just fire them off in the chat. I'll be answering them after this. So let's take a look at what we have wrought here in the last hour or so. Cool. All right, just flip us back here. So hopefully that's been helpful for you, doing a little bit of this live. Again, all in Adobe Audition. And, you know, you hear little ticks and things, but honestly, because I'm streaming on a laptop to you right now. So it's a lot of what we're experiencing here. All right, let me take a look at some of the chat we've got here. Let's see. Yeah, impulses, responses. The blue. Oh, yeah, I've seen that gravity thing. What they did with gravity is so great. If you use silence or heartbeats or breathing, which they use so much in that movie, it puts people on such edge because nobody wants to be listening to body autonomic functions. The more autonomic functions we put into a soundtrack, the more people get very, very nervous, very, very uncomfortable. Works in horror movies, etc. Yeah, I've seen it. Okay, so cool. And then Jovad, where you got paid for the new Windows 10.3 so you can see the differences. Differences in what exactly? I'm not clear. Those laser shot sounds are not really good. Sounds old and fantasy. I think your mix is so cool. It sounds good to me. Yeah, well, the whole point of this is that it is supposed to retain some of those old things because it is it's in the old school Star Trek universe. Now, I would never use these sounds in a real modern thing. In fact, we've tried to use, as I mentioned earlier, some of the new elements that we're using to try to kind of gloss over some of that old school stuff. So, but you know, these are iconic sounds that everybody recognizes from the Star Trek franchise. So, yeah, thank you. Thanks very much. And this is stuff that I teach. You know, I teach on the Cinema Sound Education. And if you're looking for more experience on surround sound, on the cinemasound.com site is, in fact, I'll just put this in the chat room here, is an education called the Quick Start Guide to Surround Mixing. And some of you have asked specifically around, hey, where do I put things and things like that. Again, there's no rules, right? There's no such thing as that. But there is guidelines, things that help. Now, the only rule really is just make sure that quality control doesn't call up after you've delivered and wants you to change something. That's a bad deal because then they usually have the client on the line with you and it's really embarrassing. And I've had to, in fact, there was a situation where I had it was a documentary that was shot in Colombia and the filmmaker shot all this footage in mono and was required because of her distribution deal to do a 5:1 mix. And we racked our brains to try to figure out what in the world are we going to do to try to fill this stuff out because there was no content. So we went and created new sound effects, all new Foley, of course, and then ambiances, and we actually took the dialogue and did a little reverb, just very subtle, and stuck it in the surround so it felt fuller. Well, boy, this quality control called me. I got the phone call. And they were like, "You can't, did you put dialogue in?" And it was almost like they were wagging their finger at me. And I have the client on the line, because that's what they do to try to, strong arm you into doing what they want. And they were like, "You can't, did you put dialogue?" I'm like, "Well," and I explained to them what we did. And they're like, "Well, you can't do that." And I was like, so let me get this straight. You're the quality control guy. Is there distortion? Did we go over? Well, no. Are we within the levels that we're supposed to be? Well, yeah. Is there some other rule that we need to be aware of for delivery to your spec? Well, no, but you can't put dialogue. I'm like, so we can do whatever we want. We can put dialogue in the left surround for the whole movie if we want, and have music in the center channel in mono, and there's no rule that says I can't do that. No, I shouldn't do that. But we're trying to solve a problem that the filmmaker had with her movie, and I think we solved it, don't you? And of course the client's there saying, well, yeah, actually we did have to do this. And he's like, well, okay, backed off. But it's a bad phone call to have. They're getting much more understanding now about things like that, especially with the advent of movies where dialogue is somewhere back here. Someone's talking off screen to somebody behind you and the dialogue's coming from back there for a second. So never used to be that way, but it is now. So I'm glad for that. Let's see. Yeah, so I just posted the quick start guide in the chat. Thank you very much, SKB Documentary. Welcome and good night. I'm also going to sign off. Hopefully this has been helpful to you. And if so, come join us on Cinema Sound. I've got hundreds of articles to help you get the kind of sound that you need to get that unfair competitive advantage in the workspace, in the workplace for your films and multimedia projects. Not to mention delivering in 5.1, delivering on the internet, which isn't just the same delivery that you would do anywhere else, a very specific kind of delivery that needs to be done so that you can compete. Especially now that everybody like YouTube, everybody's bringing volumes down, which is a total drag. That's not what we want.